All right, Coach, just after studying the film and self-evaluating, what was your takeaway from the Akron game?
Again, big plays, and not responding to overcome some of those mistakes. It's, there's a play or two that it's been run before, maybe out of a little different formation, but it's not like a concept that we haven't seen, and we've got to be able to see and react a little bit better. Do our assignment. Don't do anything. Don't try to do more than what it's supposed to do to keep some things together. Offensively, again, that it's broken record. That start, that be able to come out, the cycle of 3 and outs, and how do you get any rhythm when you're looking at that play sheet when you're not getting anything going, and we've got to get ourselves a normal down and distance and get ourselves some opportunities to sustain drives. That doesn't always mean you're going to get points out of them, but we've got to be able to generate a few first downs and win the field position battle, do those things, and then get in that rhythm to generate scoring plays.
You're 11 games in. I mean, obviously, I understand as a coach, you're not in the making excuses business, but I mean, with such a young players in the secondary, and you don't have safeties who've played 26 starts. I mean, sometimes some of these looks. Do you feel like?
Yeah, that would be.
It's going to happen. You don't want it to happen, but that's the risk you run.
Yes, I mean, you're asking. I don't think. I hope no one's felt in whatever 11 of these or whatever that we've ever stood and we're going to make excuses from where we're at. I mean, if we're still analyzing last week's game a little bit, you're talking about eight and 9 starters respectively on their 2 deep, and a program that was fighting for that to get themselves in that position and got themselves over a hump, and then you look at, like you said, career starts and that, but that's where we're at, and that's where we're going to keep coaching them, and we're still in a position to get ourselves bowl eligible, and we're going to continue to do that.
Offensively, you mentioned, looking at the play sheet, and you don't have a ton of, you'd like to have more chunk plays on offense. Do you think that when you're having continuity and you're off the field, it becomes harder for the offensive coordinator to waste it down, stretching the field, not waste it down, but
it's like you have our staff room bugged. I mean, we've talked about that. You take a shot on first down to try to soften people up, and you're not having great success in that consistency area. Are you willing to take that chance to be 2nd and 10, and then versus hopefully being 2nd and 6? Or better. Sometimes you're 2nd and 7, but it's you're dealing with then 2 downs get 7 yards, and versus that, and that is something that's been discussed. It's been pretty much on a weekly basis that when Andy and I meet about game plan things, that hey, we need to take some shots. But it's not always as clean as what the game is playing out for us.
Miami, UMass. What stands out?
Well, Sharp is the receiver. The quarterback is, very talented. I know their season record-wise hasn't played out the way they've wanted it to, but besides Joe, he seems to be as calm of a guy in the pocket and doesn't get rattled, keeps him plays alive and doing things as very similar that way. Coach Whipple, I think, does an outstanding job. You can, in my estimation, I think you can tell his offensive knowledge and his time in the NFL because he looks for matchups and he looks for ways to get his best player in situations to get him the ball. And that's why they have the receiver that leads the nation in receptions and targets, because they have taken ways to find the matchup to get the ball in their best player's hands.
He's on Sharp, it's on pretty high on a lot of pre-season draft boards. If you based on DraftNix, what DraftNix say, just can you kind of describe what you see when you watch him on film?
Well,
do they move him slot outside?
They move him
slot.
Yes, and in the backfield. So they're going to line them up in the backfield, motion them out, and so again, they're going to find that ways that if you are doing anything, you're probably going to tip it with the motion. If you're trying to do anything with your outside guys, of course, how are you going to get the matchup that way? I'm not one to have any judgment on draft picks and all that, but a very athletic receiver, great hands, burst. He can, as you said, he's very versatile as a receiver goes. I think when you look at it, he's shown it. Again, he's played on the outside, he's played on the inside. He can do a lot of things.
Joe's last game here, last game maybe. I know you haven't been around for the majority of his tenure, but what makes Joe Licata special and special to this program?
Well, off the field, it's his maturity, his passion for the area. We've talked about that, about where he's at is, a confident but low ego quarterback that's done a lot for this program through a lot of years. He's been through the ups, he's been through some downs, but his demeanor never changes, and that's what I'll always admire about him. His maturity, like I said, I would be surprised if Joe leaves this area, for very long anyway, or he'll return someday. And his passion for this university and our athletic department, I think, will always be there, and that'll be he'll always be an important piece of this program, as many of these seniors will. It's as I've said many times before, the maturity and the quality of these guys as people. And and to go through a transition in your last year is never easy, and they've accepted it and worked hard, and we got to do everything we can to try to get these guys to a 13th game.
Yeah, you have that in front of you. What does that mean? The conference goals maybe weren't attained that you want, but you still have one goal, and that's to be bowl eligible in front of you.
Yeah, there's so much that could do for us in this season for that group, for all our upperclassmen, for a group to go twice in 3 years. What it can do for our athletic department, our program in recruiting. There's so many things that a game, a win Saturday could do. As I said to our guys, to play a meaningful ball game in Week 12 is what we want this program to get to on a consistent basis. We'd like the 12th game to be meaningful enough to get us to a 13th game, which then would get us to a 14th game. And so to start playing meaningful games on the 12th one of the year is a step in the right direction. Yes, they haven't been as many in the right column yet for us, but we still have there's a lot of people lining up this weekend that are playing out the schedule, and we're not one of them.
I don't know. What do you think of? Have you calculated? Do you have odds in your head if you win? What will happen?
No, I don't have the odds. I know the number of that are eligible. There's a local writer that had it just as well as we did, and the number of people that still have a chance versus the number of slots available, and you're very good and accurate on that. So there's a lot of things. Take a step back for a second. This is the key time that you can tell everyone in your program from head coach on to worry about what you can control. And what we can control is playing our best football on Friday afternoon to give us the opportunity. Once that's there and we do hit that mark, then everything else is up to someone else.
Alan Green, what do you think of his appointment today?
Yeah, very happy for Alan, excited about it. When I landed in Buffalo, I had met Danny once before. The next person I met was Alan Green. You can see, if you in the situation of where we're at as an athletic department, as a football program, a lot of things are heading in the right direction. There's a lot of excitement and newness going on, and to have somebody who worked under the man who started it and was leading this, I think is definitely a move that I'm excited about.
He was obviously involved in discussing your hire with Danny, was involved in picking you. What do you think about, not having to work for somebody who you don't know?
Well, that's always, is everyone's going to have a different leadership style, so those things. But as a deputy athletic director, he was one that I reported to. We had met. Alan sat in on a lot of our Thursday 48-hour staff meetings. He sat in. He's watched how we operated. He sees us on the road. He's been out to practice. I think he's had a chance to evaluate us as a first-year program. So I'm very comfortable with that. And in today's age, when things change at the top, you don't know how that affects things. So I'm very comfortable with the decision made today. All right. Thank you.